welcome back again to my channel. I am filming a lot of videos today, mainly because last week I didn't film, and then I just feel like I have so many ideas in my head and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get all these out there. Yeah, I'm doing a collaboration video with Brittany Jamerson, and we kind of got together, started talking, and we're like, why don't we do a collab of our ghost experiences and like paranormal experiences. She is like so sweet. Love her so much. I'll post her channel down below. I wanted to do this video for a while, and I love hearing other people's experiences as well, because sometimes I feel like I'm crazy or I'm just thinking about it too much. I haven't had like a ton of things happen to me, so don't think like I have ghosts following me everywhere. It really does not happen to me very often, but this experience was just so weird, so weird. This took place back in 2017. My grandfather suddenly got really sick and ended up in the hospital. We thought he was gonna be fine. We thought everything, oh, he just needed like some surgery and then he would be fine. And then they started finding all these other health problems, and he went to the ICU and he unfortunately passed away. So my grandmother, we didn't want her staying alone in like a big house by herself. So my parents were like, okay, let's all take turns. We'll stay in the house. And I kind of already knew some like experiences were happening. My uncle was saying lights were turning off and on, like when no one was touching any lights at all. And so I was kind of like, okay, that's kind of weird, but like whatever, like it's probably fine. So I spent the night with my grandmother one night. I only spent the night with her one night, and then I was like, I am never going back in that house again. It was so scary. So we're getting ready to go to bed, and I go upstairs. So my grandfather's office was upstairs, and so was his bedroom. And so like I went into his office and like saw exactly how he left it, and I was kind of like walking by his room, and all of a sudden I hear this like really, really weird noise. Almost kind of like a scratching, like I don't know if I can do it, if you guys can hear it, but like, sorry, I don't even want to like shake you guys, but like I can't even do it. Like it's this weird, and it was like while I was walking by the room. I was like, okay, it's nighttime, like 10 o'clock at night. Like it has to be an animal. But then I was like, why does it sound like it's coming from inside the room? So I go inside the room and I'm like, let me check it out. Let me see what's going on. And I don't find anything. I look in the room and I'm like, there is nothing. I'm like, maybe it's a clock. Maybe it's, I don't know. Like, I'm just like trying to like rationalize it in my head, but I'm like, there's nothing that would be making that specific noise. The room I was staying in was down the hall. I was sitting in bed. I saw these, and I guess you could call them orbs, but they were like three like lines. Like I don't even know, like I'm trying to like draw them for you guys, but keep in mind there were three of them. My grandfather was also a very holy man, so I kind of think maybe that was like the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. He also had three kids. Like maybe that's why there's three, because you'll see it's a running theme in this video. There's there's a lot of things of three. I see these like orb things and I'm like, okay, it's something reflecting, right? There's gotta be something reflecting. So I like look behind me and I'm like, okay, there's not a mirror. It's nighttime. So I'm like, okay, I bet if I turn the lights off, they're gonna go away. Turn the lights off, they don't go away. And I'm like, okay, turn them back on. They still don't go away. And I was like, is there an airplane? Is there a car? Keep in mind, this was down like a road. This was late at night. It was down a road. There were no cars. There were no airplanes. You would be able to hear an airplane. There was nothing. Like, and so I kept turning lights on, off. And then all of a sudden, like that, it just went away. It was so weird. I was like, I guess you could count that as like orbs, but I was just like, I was so freaked out of my mind at that point. And another thing that I heard was a loud bang noise. And this was right before I think I was about to go to bed. So this was like before everything else. So sorry, I kind of missed that. And I was like, oh my gosh, my grandmother, she must have fallen downstairs. So I like run downstairs and I asked her, I'm like, hey, are you okay? She was like, yeah, I'm fine. And I told my mom was like, maybe she was slamming a drawer. And I'm like, but she was like in her 80s at the time. Like, how can she, you know, hit her drawer that hard to make it that loud? Night, I was at my parents' house. That's where I was like living at the time. And keep in mind, so it was my room. My dad was downstairs. And then where my room was, my parents was right across from it. And my mom was in there. And I was just sitting in my room one night. And all of a sudden, there was this loud bang. And it was like what? Like, I didn't even know what to do. I just like froze because I was like, what was that? And my dad was like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm fine. It turns out we end up going down the hallway where no one was. My brothers were not living in this house at this point. I didn't go down there. My parents didn't walk down there. And a light fixture in our laundry room suddenly just fell down and crashed, and the whole thing broke. And we're just like, what the heck? How would that just fall off? Like, you can say, sure, maybe it wasn't tightened, but it's like, it's like, what? Like, why all of a sudden, like, you know, you would think, oh, maybe the house like moved, maybe the garage door opened, you know, sometimes I can like shake the house. No, nothing. It was so weird. Only did I like refuse not to stay at my grandparents' house, I was now getting scared staying at my parents' house. So I'll share like an experience my dad had, again, around the same time all this was going on. And he heard footsteps in the house, in like our house, his house, and not my grandparents' house. And he thought I was home, so he was like calling out to me, and obviously like no one said anything. And then he thought my now husband, my boyfriend at the time, you know, he came over a lot because we went to school together and it wasn't far from my parents' house. So he was like, oh, okay, he's here. And he figured out no one's in the home and he's hearing footsteps in our house. And my dad was also at the computer, again, home alone, and he starts seeing like our desk lamp move like this, which I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see, but like pretty much making the sign of the cross. And also it's like 1, 2, 3. So again, another 3. My parents had, they've sold their practice now, but they had an eyewear business. And they came in one day and they saw some glasses on the floor. So my dad was an optometrist, but they also sold eyewear and all that kind of stuff. And they were like, why are these glasses on the floor? So they asked like their employees, they were like, did y'all happen to put down these glasses for any reason? They were like, no, no one broke in to the place. I mean, they had checked it and they're like, well, let's check the camera footage. At 3 a.m., again, another 3, they were like, okay, everything looks fine, like glasses were in the case, and like 3:02, the camera somehow stopped like recording everything, and then it came back on, and then 3 pairs of glasses were on the floor. Oh my gosh, I'm getting goosebumps just telling this. How weird is that? Like, if you say, okay, I don't believe in spirits, I don't believe in ghosts, whatever, like how can you explain that? There was no one there at 3 in the morning to do that. Because there's gonna be a lot of cutting in this video because Scott keeps making all these noises. You can't explain that. No one broke in. There was nothing wrong with the camera. Like they even looked, they're like, maybe something happened. No, there was nothing wrong with anything. And 3 pairs of glasses were on the floor. It was just so weird that we were constantly seeing the number 3. Which again, I think is either Father, Son, Holy Spirit, or his 3 children. But it was also like really comforting knowing that it was my granddad, but I was really scared because I had never gone through any paranormal experiences or anything like that of my own before. And while you can be like, oh, why are you scared? It's just your grandfather. It's like, what if it's not though? Like, what if it's someone who's preying upon my, soul, because I'm sad that my grandfather just passed away, and it's like some other spirit who's trying to like, you know how like spirits will do that with Ouija boards? They'll like pretend to be somebody and then they'll use you as like a vessel or whatever, and then they'll, oh my gosh, it's so scary. Last experience is actually not with the person, but with an animal. So I'm a very Christian person. I believe that all animals go to heaven. I believe animals do have souls. I know some people are like, oh no, they just die, but I don't believe that. I do believe that there can be ghost animals and things like that. And so it was when my dog died. I had a black lab and his name was Lucky, and he was about 15 when he passed away, and it was really, really hard on me because that was like my baby. I had him from when I was 10 years old to when I was 25. I mean, it was really, really hard losing him because he was my baby. He was my everything. I would have done anything for that dog. And one day I was just going out to my parents' backyard and I was like, I just want to walk out here. And I swear to you, I felt like exactly how he would walk up against my leg all the time. And it was the weirdest feeling. I looked down, I'm like, nothing is there. It wasn't my other parents' dog. She's a Jack Russell and she's tiny. And it was just crazy. And that like moment was like, okay, I feel like my dog is with me. And you can say that's stupid, you can make fun of me, whatever, but I truly believe that like animals can be like ghosts sometimes and they kind of don't know where to go. Kind of reminds me of Ghost Whisperer, if you guys have ever seen that, the ghost dog that like doesn't go into the light, so she has to like throw a tennis ball, I think, to get the dog. Those were my ghost experiences, paranormal experiences. Not too many of them, but just really just with my granddad. And then when my grandmother passed away, all of it really stopped, and we all kind of thought like, okay, my granddad is probably waiting for my grandmother because they were so close. And it was just really weird. And I was like, oh my gosh, if my grandmother passes away, is weird stuff gonna happen? Like, you guys can't see it, but I have a mirror right above here, and it's my grandmother's, and it's from her house. And I was like, if that thing falls one day and just shatters, I'm gonna freak out. Absolutely believe in the paranormal, 100,000%. I believe in the paranormal. I believe that after people die, sometimes they don't know they're dead. They're confused, or they just don't want to cross over yet. Like, I truly, truly believe in that 100,000%. But those are just some of my experiences, just kind of small little things, nothing like, oh my gosh, major, like, but none of us got hurt. It was never a life-threatening thing. It was just really weird incidences going on that none of us could explain at the time. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you've had any paranormal experiences, please list them down below because I'd love to hear them. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so if you want to see more spooky content. And until next time, stay spooky. Bye guys.